Thank you, everyone. We'll wait a couple more minutes and see if we get some other folks to join, but thank you for everybody.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, because I was testing. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Okay, so we've got 11 folks here right now. So we'll give a minute or two for others to join. And I'll make sure I might just try to send out a quick note on Facebook. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. I think I just saw Anna post the login information. So thank you. Anna, did you post the login information on Facebook?
Okay, so Sierra had created an event and
Yeah.
you had posted the log information, and what I just did was I liked it, and so it moved it to the top.
Okay, good. Thank you. I was just going to say something about it, so thank you. Trying to move it to the top, so thank you. In case anybody was not getting on, so thank you. Okay, well, why don't we get started and have folks introduce themselves. I can start since I'm already talking. I am, as most of you probably know, I'm Steve Van Tassel. I am the PTA president. I have one son. His name is Shane. He's in the first grade Spanish immersion. And thank you. And I thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. So, George, Sierra, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, my name is George Newberry. I'm the treasurer. I have two children, Chester and Harriet, in second grade and kindergarten.
All right, my name's Sierra. I am the secretary, and I have a first grader in Spanish immersion and a preschooler.
Okay. I don't see the list, so I'll just start off. I see Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Vargas. I am a proud mother of two tigers, Groveton Tigers. My David was the first generation of two-way immersion program. He just graduated last year. And now I had my Gabriel in first grade. So it's gonna be now, in second grade, it's gonna be the third year in the two-way immersion program, which is an awesome program we have. And it's the first year, even with all that story, it's the first year that I'm being part of the PTA, being involved in learning and everything. So that's me. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Jasmine. So next we have Anna Bennett. Anna?
Hi, yeah, I'm Anna Bennett, and I have three daughters at Groveton. Emilia's in 5th grade, Clara's in 4th grade, and Rebecca's in 2nd grade.
Okay, great. I'm just going across here on my screen. Next, we have Mr. DeBonis, the school librarian. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Sometimes it's hard to find my mouse. I've got two screens here. I'm the school librarian. I'm here tonight to talk about our book fair that we recently had and a donation from the PTA to buy books for some of our students at Groveton.
Thank you, Mr. DeBonis. Thanks for joining us. Next, we have Mr. Swoger, who everybody should know.
Hey, everyone. Jim Swoger, principal at Groveton. Nice to see you all tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Swoger. Next, the next person I'm seeing is Matt Morris, but it looks like he's connecting to audio. I don't know if you are having trouble, sir, or if you can hear us or see us. Okay. If not, next is Kristen Ullman. Did I get that? Sorry if I didn't get that right, Kristen.
You got it right. So I'm Kristen Ullman. I have two kids. One is a preschooler and one is a kindergarten, Richard at Groveton.
Great, thank you. So next we have Ms. Casablanca joining us. Yes.
Good evening. Hi. This is Miss Casablanca. Bienvenidos, buenas noches. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next we have Tabitha.
Hi, I have 3 kids. 2 of them are at Groveton in 2nd and kindergarten.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Diane.
Hi, sorry. Hi, it's Diane Kramer. I have a daughter in 5th grade in Spanish immersion.
Great, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Matt Morris, I still see it's connecting to audio. I don't know if you can see us or not, so or hear us. If you can, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. Okay. All right. Okay, well, hopefully he's able to hear us and can join up. Mr. Morris, Matt Morris?
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, we're just introducing ourselves. You sound like your mic was not working for a while, or you were connecting.
Oh yeah, I was connecting. Actually, this is Michelle Alvarez, Matt Morris's wife. It's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for joining us. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to Groveton?
Oh, sure. My daughter is Mia Morris. She's in kindergarten. She's in the immersion program. I am a speech language pathologist for Arlington. And my husband is an IT, I guess, supervisor for the National Association of Convenience Stores. So it's our first year with Groveton.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And I just had somebody else join. It's Phyllis's iPhone. Hi, Phyllis.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. Do you want to let us know a little bit about yourself? Okay. All right. Okay, well, thank you all for joining. We have a different meeting. We have a different meeting time. We have a bunch of little things to go over tonight. I'm going to share my screen and open up the meeting slides so we can go over everything. Pardon me 1 second. After all the Zooms I've done, you would think that I would have this ready to go, but I don't. So hopefully everybody can see this. We have the meeting. I don't know how to make this bigger. Always know how to make it bigger. Yeah, that's better at least. Okay, so this is our 8th meeting of the 2021 school year. We're going to have our 9th one in June. Probably take the summer off. But here's the agenda. We're going to have just had the roll call. Then we're going to have Sierra go over the April meeting minutes. Then we're going to have treasurers and president's reports. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the end of year showcase that Ms. Hart is putting together. Then Mr. DeBonis is going to talk about the book fair, which just ended. Then Mr. Swoger is going to talk about the proposal to have the electronic school sign. And then we're going to do elections for the PTA for next year. And then we will do the free pizza coupon drawing, and I will try to get those out to folks quickly. And then any questions or open discussion we can do at the end. So since we did the roll call, next I'm going to have Sierra do the April meeting minutes, and I'll let her share the screen.
Never discovered schools remain closed. Workers and families. All right, can everyone see it? All right, so we are on the Groveton PTA website, grovetonpta.org. Going to the meetings, we've posted the April meetings and meeting minutes. They know HR free. All right. So last month we went over the typical meeting minutes, treasurers and president's report, discussed the PTA elections, had a presentation on testing, and Mr. DeBonis presented on the book fair proposal. With that, we went over the budget. President's report went over a few of the recent events that the PTA had funded and some inputs for fundraising activities. We highlighted the Earth Day event, which was a success. Thank you Terry, for coming. Then we went into the PTA election process, establishing the nominating committee and going through. And then following that, we had a testing presentation by Principal Chris Latham. With that, we went over the various school testings that will be happening, the timeframes, and which grade ranges. And then we had a robust question and answer period for that session. And if everyone is good, we can approve the meeting minutes.
Okay. Does anybody have any objection to the meeting minutes being approved? I approve them. Does any no objections? They are approved. Thank you, Sierra.
Thank you.
Appreciate it as always.
Presentation. Very clear.
Okay. Sorry. Next, we're going to have the treasurer's report. So we will turn it over to George.
Okay. All right, so May treasurer's report. As of today, we have just over $28,000 in the Capital One account. That includes Topper's fundraiser of $284.28. That actual fundraiser occurred back in March or April, but finally got the check deposited. It also includes staff T-shirts. That's the staff appreciation gifts. Individual Groveton shirts distributed to all the staff and teachers. Does include a recent El Paso fundraiser of $187. There's still a little bit of outstanding Blizzard bingo expenses I need to get from Steve. Earth Day expenses I need to submit. That's about $50. And then a reimbursement to me for paying the Fairfax PTA dues. That has to be through like an online thing. It's just easier to use a credit card and get a reimbursement. And then a teacher grant to Mr. DeBonis for this the book fair this last week. And we still owe 25 cents to the county PTA, which I will pay, but it's due by June. It's just one of those, it's 25 cents and ends up paying more in a transaction fee probably than the actual dues that are due. 45 members total, and I need volunteers to assist in a year-end audit. Basically, we'll just go over all the books, make sure everything's shipshape. And then also, if anybody wants to volunteer, put together a committee on it to go over next year's budget, formulate that with either me, if I stay on as treasurer, whoever the next treasurer is after the elections. But to help out with budgeting or formulating what events to do. Imagine we'll be getting back into the swing of fall festivals, Blizzard bingos, those sorts of things. But it helps to have people, think it out and organize what we're going to do next year. So that concludes the treasurer's report for May. Are there any questions?
Okay. No, just that we do have to formally approve the grant to Mr. DeBonis for the PTA contribution to the book fair. We were proposing to have him, he was going to buy $500 worth of books that he presented at the last meeting, and he can tell us what he's done with that, but we still do need to approve that. So does anybody have any objections to the PTA spending $500 for book fair donations for books for students?
It's $530. There's $500 plus $30 shipping.
Pardon me. Sorry. Thank you, George. $530. Okay. Hearing no objections, that is passed. Thank you. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
For that. Congratulations, Mr. DeBonis. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. So I will continue to share my screen and then, okay, so next we did the treasurer's report. So next we have my report on the president's report. And so that basically, I just wanted to go over a couple of things. We have we had the successful Earth Day cleanup. We had quite a few folks come out and help us out. We picked up some trash at the schools. George organized it. It was a great day. We all got Topper's Pizza at the end, so it was very nice. And thank you to George for organizing that. We did, as George mentioned, we did fund some staff appreciation T-shirts. You can go to the website. There should be a picture of them, some of the teachers wearing them. If you do the Kiss and Ride, you may have noticed one day they were wearing them during Teacher Appreciation Week. And we did have, back on May 4th, we had the El Paso fundraiser that George mentioned, which raised $187.38. I believe from Julie's note on Facebook, I think El Paso chipped in an extra $50, which we thank them for. We just had the DC Slices fundraiser, the food truck in the Stony Brook neighborhood. That was on Saturday. I don't know how much we raised from that yet, but I'm sure I'll hopefully have an amount for that at the next meeting. Thank you to any and everybody who came out to that. And thank you to Rachel Moran for organizing. We appreciate that. Our future PTA activities is on the 27th, we've got another Toppers fundraiser, which we're trying to get to $1,000 raised. They're going to donate a generous 40%. And if you've got a child doing the virtual band and strings concert that night, or just want to watch that, it's in conjunction, it's the same night as that. So have some Toppers Pizza, raise some money for the PTA, and watch the kids do their concert. And then also on the last day of school, on June 11th, we have the Yogurt City fundraiser. So since they get out 2 hours early, maybe folks will go to Yogurt City afterwards and have some yogurt to celebrate school being over. The last thing I wanted to talk about is the virtual end of the year showcase, AKA the talent show. Ms. Hart is organizing it, and we thank Ms. Hart for doing that. We don't know the exact date yet. It's to be determined, but it's going to be during the last week of school. And the reason why I wanted to mention it at this meeting is that the videos and the artwork are due by next Monday, which is May 24th. So if you've got any budding comedians, singers, artists, anything, so have them participate. It sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. So thank you to Ms. Hart for doing that. So next, I'm going to stop. We're going to have Mr. DeBonis. He can talk about the book fair, if you don't mind talking about that, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me just bring up my screen. Could everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so last month I came and asked for $500 from the PTA in order to buy books for Groveton students who are unable to buy books of their own from the book fair. It's something that we do in a kind of an informal way in the past. And I wanted to kind of formalize it a little bit more this time. What I did was the 2 weeks before the fair, I did a preview with our students, prepping them for how to browse books online, how to get some free activity packs from the book fair, and also how to buy their books. Because we did this online and it's nothing like the book fairs that we've had in the past. So it took some time to work with them to show them how to find books, buy books. But what I also did was kind of survey them with each class that I visited, and kind of put together a list of the books that were most popular, so that I could buy those books for those students that we were going to give these PTA donated books to. I thought it's very important. I feel that it's very important for the students that do get the books to have some choice in the books that they get. So as you can see on the screen, I picked a range of books. They're kind of like, they're the most popular books in general. So there's nothing too obscure. I think that any child who has the opportunity to choose one of these books is going to find something that they like. Of course, it's also across a bunch of age ranges. We've got Ground Zero, which is historical fiction for older kids, Julie and the Phantoms for older kids, but we also have We Don't Eat Our Classmates, which is more for the younger students. although a lot of our 5th and 6th graders really like that book too. So what I did was figure out how many books we could get for each of these titles, and surveyed our teachers. Again, we normally we have kids coming to the library. Normally we get to talk to the teachers. I get to see who is buying books and who isn't. So this has always been a lot easier in the past. What I did this time was send out an email to all of our teachers and counselors and set up a Google Doc where they could submit names, at least one name from each class of a student who was unable to buy books on their own from the book fair, so that we could pass on these books to those students. Of course, we're not going to get everybody. I wish we could. Maybe we could even increase how many books we buy next year. But we are going to be able to give away at least one book to every class, and we'll have a few extras. So a few of the classes will hand out books to more than we'll hand out books to about 2 students in about half of the classes. What else? Let's see. In general, about the book fair, on the screen you can see how much we earned in total sales. It was $2,775. That is substantially less than what we normally earn. At our last book fair, we earned close to $14,000. There were a lot of barriers to getting anywhere near our normal total. Most of all, the fact that it was online. It was very, very difficult to get some students into the book fair. Many of our students who use school computers, there were issues where FCPS blocks access to some of our students. It took, I would say, about 2.5 days for me to work my way through the IT bureaucracy and figure out what was going on and try to unblock as many computers as possible. And then there's also the issue that, trying to do this online with younger students is difficult for them to figure out how to use these tools. Nonetheless, $2,775 is actually a very good number, considering all of the obstacles that we had this year. The other thing to remember is that even though the book fair is officially over as of Sunday, if anybody still goes into the Groveton website and buys books off of our page, we'll still get 2% of any books that are bought, 2% of whatever we spend going forward. Let's see. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to share, I did actually purchase the books. I wanted to buy them. I know that we didn't get formal approval, but I thought it was important to purchase the books ahead of time. If you look, I don't know how big this is on your screen, but by buying them before Sunday, not only did the PTA buy $500 worth of books that they can put directly into students' hands, but we also earned almost $125 towards rewards for Groveton Elementary School. So that's $125 of books that I can now buy for our library. So in essence, the PTA donated approximately $625 towards books for our students. So thank you very much. They are going to be very, very, very happy. And there you can see, those are the books that in my first slide, I proposed buying. And the one thing that I didn't anticipate was our taxes. One of the other little special things about doing it online is that we get taxed, which we don't when we're in the school, because of the fact that we're not buying them directly in the school. The tax exemption is not there, so it was a little bit more than $500, as George mentioned. And the last thing that Steve and I discussed, and I don't know if it's something that we would vote on here, but I think is a wonderful idea, is just making this a regular part of our budget, making it a line item. The PTA does donate to the book fair every year. But I think it would be wonderful if I knew, that donation was coming, and we could plan ahead with that rather than coming and making the proposal each year. And I think that's everything. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Devonis. Appreciate it. I'm happy that we were able to contribute, and we probably we'll talk about that when they do the budgeting. But I think having it as a line item next year and every year is probably a good thing. Just to,
I think that'd be
so
wonderful.
you know in advance, and so
Yes,
and so you can plan in advance. Okay, thank you. Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so the next thing. So thank you very much. The next thing we're going to talk about is Mr. Swoger. Wants to talk a little bit about where there's a proposal he has gotten to have a school sign, an electronic school sign. So if you want to talk about that, Mr. Swoger, we'd love to hear about it.
All right. Hi, everyone. Steve, is it okay if I share the screen? I can put up the sign.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Why don't you show everybody what it's going to look like?
Let's see. It's this one. All right. So, so we've been talking about major improvements for the school, and the board and I have worked pretty closely on this year. So George did a great job with the school cleanup day, and at that time we were talking a little bit more about other improvements that we could possibly do to the school. And my big suggestion, it was a new electronic school sign for Groveton. And so the board agreed to at least hear a proposal on this. It took a while to get the proposal from the county. All big purchases like this have to go through a county approved vendor. So we told the county what we want. You can see the shape of the sign goes inside of the current this current structure that we have at Groveton. So the county went ahead and did all that preparation for us, and sent us an estimate for the sign. So this is a rough drawing of what the sign would look like at Groveton. I will scroll down and just kind of go over a couple of the features. So we did choose a sign that that has some of the extra features like these. As you can see, you can do some animations. You can share like the PTA meeting this week. And as Steve was asking earlier, we could do that in 3 different languages at a time. There's a lot that you can do with this sign, and you can do it from the comfort of home. Instead of having to go out and actually change the sign at the board, I can do it from my computer. So we chose the 16mm sign because it gives us more capacity for text. So let me scroll on down and show you. So what the sign that we chose will do, so this is what I'm talking about, the pixel size here. So the sign that we chose will have a display similar to these pictures over here. So we did choose the 16mm, and that provides us with up to 5 lines of text. It says 3 is optimal, but the one that we chose can go up to 5 lines of just basic text. It has a variety of fonts and styles and animation options, all of which are great. As I was explaining to the board earlier this evening, I have been driving to Groveton for 11 years and maybe twice have actually looked at the sign. So this would be a good communication tool for families and anybody driving past the school to see what's going on with the sign. So the county got the bid from Stewart Signs, and our bid from Stewart Signs, the original price was $17,798. They have a promotion going on, which takes $3,559 off until June 30th. So you can see that the total price of the sign was reduced to $14,239. The FCPS warranty is required for all Fairfax purchases. So that's $1,780. And that means that if anything happens to the sign throughout its life, the company Stewart Signs will come out and fix it or replace it. And then a freight price for shipping. So the investment the PTA would make in this sign would be approximately $16,728. So the reason that I've been pushing this year is that is only half of the story. The other half of the story is that we also have to pay for installation. And while the sign price is great, the installation price is astronomical. So the school has some money this year that we wouldn't in a typical year. We have about, so the price is $19,600 to have the sign installed and the electricity run underground to the sign. So yes, the installation is more than the sign, but we actually have the money this year. As I explained earlier, we wouldn't have that in a typical year because we did not have the need for use and facilities money this year. We have some money left over that we can use to purchase the sign this year. So it's my belief that this would be a good investment for the school, but this is a PTA decision. It's not my decision. So I wanted to present that information and take any questions or comments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Swoger. I think somebody had a question in the chat about whether it was double or single-sided.
It is single-sided.
Okay. So it would be
a double on the quote there, Mr. Swoger.
Get it? Oh, what? I could be wrong, George. That wouldn't be the first time today. Ask Mrs. Casablanca. Is it double-sided? I didn't even notice that.
Down a little farther.
Daddy.
Oh, is it on the actual?
Stop right there.
There you
Description, 4x8 double-sided.
It's double-sided.
I stand corrected.
great. Okay. Okay. So somebody, Kristen, did you want to ask you a question?
Sure. So Mr. Swoger, you mentioned that the school has some additional funding that can go towards it. Does the school basically lose that funding if you don't spend it on something like this? Does it?
Yes, as of the end of the school, actually before the end of the school year, we can only carry over a small percentage of our budget from year to year, which typically is not a problem. Typically at this point in the year, we are scraping to get by. But because we haven't been in the facility all year this year, we do have facility funds this year left over that we could take on that $19,600 for the installation.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we were able to buy a bunch of things this year through CARES Act money. So we didn't spend a penny of our own budget on technology. We didn't have to buy toilet paper like we normally have to buy. We didn't have to buy, any of those kinds of things. Our passive order was stopped for like 6 months, and that's a big expense. So, so that's why there's leftover money this year.
Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Swoger? Okay. Okay, if you want to stop sharing your screen, Mr. Swoger, we can, thank you. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. I think what we're going to do is, right now I can see only about a dozen, I think I see about 15 people in this meeting. So I think what I'd like to do is to put this to a vote, but to put it to a vote through SurveyMonkey, where we can send it to PTA members and they can vote, and it'll be a secret ballot, unlike right now where, you know, we'd have to put hands up or something, some method of that. So does anybody have a problem with doing it in that manner, where we'll put some information together about it, and then we'll send that out to the membership in the next couple of days?
I think that's a great idea. I think, yeah, the more membership that we get, the input from, I think the better. So I think that's a great idea.
And we can put, and we can talk about it on Facebook if people want to and things like that. So, okay, so why don't we go ahead and do that? I'll work on that. Okay.
I just had a quick question. So it looked like, I think from the budget part that we have enough money for it. Is that correct? Sorry, I just wanted to kind of bring it full circle. Like, do we have the money? Do we not have the money?
Yeah, we have the money.
Thank you.
And I'll just go ahead, Ms. Cosmo.
Oh, I'm sorry. So my only suggestion that I would make is we try to send the message in both English and Spanish. I do think, when I think about the sign and I think about a lot of the feedback that I get from families about communication, one of the benefits that I see is that we would be able to use it in multiple languages. In the same way that I think if we are able to get this sign, we would be able to post communication in multiple languages. I also think when we send the SurveyMonkey out, let's try to do it in 2 languages as well.
Yes, I will. Jasmine will help me with that, correct, Jasmine?
Thanks, Jasmine.
Thank you, Jasmine.
I know she will.
That I need help with.
She's
I have a
awesome.
question about that, actually, because of course I can help with the Spanish and the English. I can read and and write French, but I need Casablanca to help me write and stuff. But
Always.
do we have the statistic of how many languages we have in Groveton, like per percentage, like how many kids speak Urdu, how many speak French?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to find the numbers for you. I will tell you, the vast majority speak Spanish, followed by Urdu and Twi and Farsi. Those would be the predominant languages that I can think about at the top of my head. I don't know, Mr. Swoger, can you think of any other languages besides those other Farsi, Twi, and Urdu?
We do have some students from African countries that also speak French, but that's typically one of several languages that we're able to speak. So.
Because this side is double side, do you think that maybe we can have even 6 languages at a time, 3 per side?
Well, so the beauty of this sign is that it scrolls. It's a digital sign, and so it. Like even Steve had an idea earlier tonight that, like, the first time it would say it in English, the second time it would say it in Spanish, the third time it would say it in Urdu, the fourth time it would say it in Twi. So we have the ability to do that.
Yeah, my idea is because as you have at the entrance of Groveton that we have that bienvenue, welcome in different languages. If we can have something like that, maybe with small welcome or greetings messages or like a book fair, we can have it in the 3 languages in this size, 3 languages in the other one. It's something that we can do with that thing.
So the sign would display on both sides, the same thing on both sides.
Okay.
It is digital, so it can scroll those things. So you know, within a minute, it can run through.
3 and 3. Okay, got it.
You know.
Got it. So let's start more languages.
Hey, Steve, just a comment, since it came up during our conversation earlier, I think it would be good too if you kind of share the history of our balance over the last few years, just so people understand the context of this purchase amount versus our balance. Steve, you're muted.
Sorry, my son was in and I didn't want everybody to hear him. I look back at the last couple of years, we have about 5 years of bank records that we have access to. And I looked at the June balance for the last 5 years, and we've had about $20,000, $22,000 in most years. We have a little bit more right now, but I mean, it seems to me, and this is just a personal, this is not a PTA opinion, it's a personal opinion, that I don't see the point of having that kind of money on hand when we could do something to improve the school or things for school for students. So we would be dropping below what we normally have at this point, but not significantly below what we've had as a balance at this point in the year. And that's with this year not having many fundraisers. I mean, we didn't do Blizzard Bingo. We didn't raise any money. We spent money on Blizzard Bingo this year, unlike all other years. So I think we'll still be in good position. Like I said, I think it was about $20,000 a year in June for the past 4 or 5 years. So, and there was somebody else who did have a question. Tabitha had 2. What is the timeline of needing to make a decision or have the survey completed? And do we know and I'll handle that. We can get the Survey Monkey out in the next day or 2 to the members and give them a couple of days to vote on it, so we can have the vote done probably by the end of next week, no problem. And then that would give Mr. Swoger, I'm speaking with Mr. Swoger, but I think that would give him enough time to make the purchase and us to fund it and everything like that. I know he has a timeline of about the first week of June, if I'm correct on that, Mr. Swoger.
Yeah, and I have a meeting tomorrow morning with somebody from purchasing, so I can give you definite details tomorrow.
Yeah.
The last piece about that was the installation timeline.
Yes.
This would be a Fairfax County thing and not a Groveton thing, so we are kind of at their mercy.
Of course. Well, hopefully they'll be able to do it quickly. We'll see. But we can, once Mr. Swoger has the information, we have sort of all the information together that we can sort of put out there for people to look at, then we can schedule a vote, and, takes only a couple of days. We have more members than are online here, but we don't have that many more members. So we just would want to give everybody a chance to vote, and we can get as many people to vote as possible. That's kind of, I think, would be the goal. Does anybody else have any questions about this? Thank you for those questions, by the way. Appreciate it. And thank you for the answers, Mr. Swoger.
Make a quick comment, having been here for, I guess we're going on 6 or so years. So even further back, just to say that we start off with like no budget, like we kind of didn't have a PTA. So the fact that we have that kind of a balance, like just, we should be proud of ourselves, but that also I think like historically as a group, we kind of had said that we wanted to kind of carry over small budgets so that all the money raised, like our kind of PTA policy was to try to spend it on the families that were, raising it at that time. So I think that's kind of a good, maybe a point for people who don't know that's something about why we might want to make sure we have a much lower balance. That way, all the families that have contributed this year or more recently are benefiting from their funds that they've put in over time recently.
Thank you. That's a great point. Having only been here for 2 years, I was not even remotely familiar with that. So thank you.
I just want to add, initially I was kind of skeptical. I think there'd be personally probably other capital improvements to more directly benefit students. But at the same time, I think this is priced to move. And if it's an opportunity that probably, from what Mr. Swoger said, won't come up again, to have the school funding for the installation, for other things like that. So that's why I kind of changed my thought, and I'm definitely for it now. Just want to let people know. All right, thanks.
I can't tell if your daughter's for or against it, George. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any comment or anything? Okay.
Hey, actually, George, yes, I did. I just wanted to also point out that in the spirit of the PTA, the money being raised is to benefit all students. And I definitely think that this project is something that's been in the works from last year as well. And it is something that not only benefits the students, but it will benefit the upcoming students and families in Groveton as well.
Thank you. Okay. Well, like I said, we'll put this all together. You'll be hearing more about this in the coming days and the vote and everything like that. So we do have, speaking of voting, we do have our last thing, which we need to talk about, which are elections. So I'm going to, so we had the, just to give everybody a recap on the elections. We had the election nominating committee, which met via Zoom to kind of talk about, to try to identify some nominees. We posted on Facebook to let the general membership know that we were looking for folks. And then we've communicated directly with some potential folks, teachers and current Groveton parents. With that said, I'll go through each one of the positions. So we have the president position, which is currently my position. I guess I'm not sure how we normally do this, but I'm just going to ask. I'm going to put this up. Is there any nominees for president? I am happy to run to be president again. But if there's anybody else who wants to be the president, feel free to step up at this point.
The nominating committee has not identified anybody else for president, so it's just open for whoever's here.
Thank you, Anna. Okay. Okay. So next we have vice president, and this position's been not filled this past year. And the vice president would be to act as an aide to the president. And if for some reason I'm not around or can't do it, they would be performing my duties. And then other delegated duties, which, are things we can work on. So do we have anybody who wants to be nominated to be vice president? We had kind of identified.
Yeah, the nominating committee has identified Jasmine as our candidate for vice president.
Okay.
And in that case, I just want to say thank you. First of all, I'm so honored that I'm being asking for this. As I said at the beginning, I have no experience, but I want to try my best. So anything that you can teach me, I'm going to learn. And anything that I can do for the school, I will be so proud to do it. And my background, I have English and Spanish and some French knowledge. And I'm a journalist degree in my country. I'm from Costa Rica. So there's a lot of things that I learned. I already have my David already graduated from Groveton. Now I had my Gabriel in first grade. And this year, my husband grandson also gonna start in the kindergarten. So I know I'm gonna be a Groveton mother for so long. So this time I think is for me to really be more proactive and try to help the school and everything I can. But again, if you want me in the group, I still can be helping with the translation and everything. But if you want me as a vice president, that I know is a lot of responsibility, please teach me, help me, because I want to do my best. But I have no experience. So that is what I can say right now. It's up to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. We appreciate that. We would be honored to have you help us and be part of the board. So thank you for agreeing to nominate yourself. Next, we have secretary. Sierra is going to step down. She is not going to be the secretary next year. She will be continuing to update the website and hopefully sort of help with communications, but she is not able to be next year to be the secretary. So do we have any nominees for secretary? Okay.
As of yet, the only a person willing to do the job is me. So I would be happy to step in the interim and get us through the summer or the first few months, and then reassess and see if there's a staff member. We're really looking for a staff member, a teacher at the school to do this job, because they're really the intermediary between the parents and the teachers in the PTA. So.
Thank you, Anna, for offering to help and do that. We appreciate it very much. So thank you. So next we have the treasurer, and these are all the responsibilities of the treasurer. So do we have any nominees for treasurer? George, do you still want to be treasurer?
George, you're doing it so well.
I don't have an option. It's in the bylaws that I got to stick around until I'm voted out.
Oh,
Yeah, I nominate. Yeah, I will stay on as treasurer.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Is anybody else interested in being nominated or considering for any of these positions? Please let us know. There's still other times to opportunities to volunteer if you want to. But if anybody else would like to be a member of the board, please speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't know if that was appropriate for then, but hey, what not? Why not? So I guess we'll do voting. I guess we'll do voting now. You know, I guess we'll just have to do a sort of a voice. Are there any objections to? Does everybody approve the slate of nominees of myself, Jasmine for myself for president, Jasmine for vice president, Anna for secretary, and George for treasurer? Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody. So now we'll do the last thing. The last thing, which is always fun, is free pizza coupons, which I am going to get out. I have not been getting them out. I'm going to get them out. I will do that. So Sierra, can you, I'm going to stop sharing. Can you do the drawing?
I will do the drawing. All right, and the first winner is Matt/Michelle Morris.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks.
Okay. If you want to stick on the line, Michelle, afterwards, I'll get your information so I can get this out to you.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
And then our second winner is Kristen.
Awesome, thanks.
Congratulations, Kristen. Thank you very much. And Kristen helped out with the nominating committee, so we appreciate your help with that. Thank you. Okay, the last thing is it's open discussion, questions, anything. We came in just under an hour, which is great. But if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. If you don't feel comfortable doing it here, you can always email me. My email is grovetonptapresident@gmail.com, or you can send a note to anybody else or post it on Facebook, whatever. We have many ways of getting in touch with us. But there's no other comments. Thank you for participating in the elections. Congratulations. Yep.
There was one thing, if you don't mind, I'd like to share real quick about 6th grade promotion.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Thank you for that. Sorry.
No problem. So we sent an email last week about virtual 6th grade promotion. And then this weekend, the CDC changed all their guidelines again. So we are working right now with the region office because we don't do anything without the permission of the region office to see what we can do about an in-person component to 6th grade promotion. So 6th grade parents, stay tuned. We have some ideas that we are working through with the region office. And if we can get it approved, we should have information no later than the beginning of next week.
Good. That's a good news.
Great. Well, thank you for that. I'm sorry. Did anybody else have anything? Thank you for jumping in, Mr. Swoger. I forgot about that. So if not, we'll sign off. If Kristen and Michelle, I'm sorry, want to stay on, I'll take your address information, get you out those coupons. And then anybody else, if you've won previous months and I haven't got it to you, stay on and I'll take your address and get that out to you because I need to do that. So thank you everybody for joining. Appreciate it. Congrats to all the new PTA board members. We'll be in touch about formalizing that. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay.